Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss the most frequently asked interview question related to encapsulation. Let's start with the first question. What is encapsulation in Java? This is the most basic question but also most important one. This is how you have to answer for this question. Encapsulation is one of the four fundamental principles of object-oriented programming language. So what do we do here is we will restrict the direct access using access modifiers. The main purpose of encapsulation is data hiding. So we will be keeping the internal details private and exposing only what's necessary to the outside world using public getters and setters method. So let's consider an example as ATM machine. So what we can do using ATM machine, we can check the balance, we can withdraw money and we can deposit the money. But you can't directly access the bank's database. The ATM controls how you interact with your money. That's encapsulation. Let's go to the question number 2. How to achieve encapsulation in Java? There are 4 simple steps using which we can achieve encapsulation. By the way, if you haven't watched my previous videos where I have explained how to achieve encapsulation in simple steps, in those videos I have covered a basic example and a real world example UPI payment system. I would highly recommend watching those first. Link is in the description. So these are the simple steps using which we can achieve encapsulation. Step number 1, we have to declare all the variables as private. So what does that mean? It hides them from the outside access. We can access only inside that particular class. Then we have to create public getters method, which is used to read the value. Third step, we have to create public setters method, which is used to write the value. Then the last step, fourth step we have, that is optional. We can use the constructor to set the initial values while creating the object. So I have explained these 4 steps in detail in those videos. You guys can go and check it out. Next question. What are the advantages of encapsulation? The first advantage of encapsulation is data hiding and security. By declaring private variables, we are preventing from the unauthorized access and modification. The second advantage is that controlled access. We can add validation logic inside setters method to ensure only valid data is stored. So whenever you have to modify the values, you can add the validation logic using some pin or password or something else. Then increased flexibility. So we can make a class read only by declaring only getters method. So whenever you have only getters method in the class, we have only the option to access those values. Or we can declare write only by providing only setters method. Next advantage, improved maintainability. So if we need to change any internal implementation, so we can do that without affecting any user interface. Means the public user interface remains the same, only we are going to change the logic which we have implemented inside that method. Then the last advantage we have, that is code reusability. So encapsulation code is modular and can be easily reused in different parts of application or in the different projects. So these are the benefits or advantages of encapsulation. Moving to the next question, why should we use private variables with public getters and setters instead of public variables? Private variables with public getters and setter method are used to ensure data security, validation and controlled access. So why not public variables? Public variables can be changed directly and it may lead to wrong or unsafe data. That's why we will not be using public variables. Instead, we will be making use of private variables. Let's go to the question number 5. What is data hiding and how it is related to encapsulation? Data hiding is a concept of making our class variables as private, so they cannot be accessed directly outside the class. Let me give you one example. For data hiding, let's consider we are locking your valuable items in a safe place. And what is encapsulation? Locking your valuable items in a safe place, along with that, having a controlled process to access them. That is encapsulation, and that is the difference between data hiding and encapsulation. Data hiding focus on protecting the data value by making it as private. Encapsulation goes further. It protects the data and provides safe, controlled way to access and modify it through public methods. Alright, 5 down and 5 more to go. Question number 6. What is the difference between encapsulation and abstraction? So, encapsulation is nothing but data hiding. Abstraction is hiding the implementation or hiding the complexity. Second difference, hiding the internal data of the class is encapsulation, wherein in abstraction we are going to hide the implementation details. In encapsulation, we will be wrapping the data and methods together, and in abstraction, we will be showing only what's necessary to the user. In encapsulation, we will be making use of private and public keyword, wherein in abstraction, we will be making use of abstract classes and interfaces. The focus of encapsulation will be on how to protect and access the data, and in abstraction, we will be focusing on what functionality to show, not how it works. Example, hiding bank details and providing deposit and withdraw methods. In abstraction, so you will enter a pin or you are going to press any button in your phone and we are not worried how the internal system works. That is the difference between encapsulation and abstraction. Easy way to remember this, in encapsulation, we are going to hide the data, and in abstraction, we are going to hide how things work. Moving to the next question, how does access modifiers help in encapsulation? Access modifiers provides a major role in encapsulation by restricting the access to data and allowing only the controlled access through methods. So for that, we are going to use two access modifiers, one private, which is used to hide the data inside the class, and the second one is public, which is used to provide the control access through the methods. Let's go to the question number 8. How does encapsulation provide data security? There are two layers through which encapsulation provides data security. Layer 1, preventing unauthorized access by making variables as private. So here we are going to ensure nobody can directly read or change the sensitive data like password, account balances, and personal information from outside the class. In the second layer, we are going to add validation, means validation before accepting public methods will act as a security checkpoint. Before allowing any data change, we can validate it. For example, the new password is strong enough and age which we are going to enter that should be in positive numbers or email format is correct. So this is how encapsulation is going to provide data security for us by using these two different layers. Moving to the next question, what are the different access modifiers we have in Java? There are total 4 different access modifiers: private, default, protected and public. Private access modifier is most restrictive one. We can access only within the same class, and we are going to use this private access modifier for data hiding and encapsulation. The second modifier we have, that is default, which is also called as package private. So if you want to use this default, we no need to declare any access modifier. Example, whenever you are going to create a method, so we'll be starting with access modifier saying that public, void and some method name. So if you remove that public keyword, then that method will be considered as default. Default member can be accessed within same package. It cannot be accessible outside the packages. Next modifier we have, that is protected. If you declare any members as protected, it can be accessible in the same package, and also we can access that in a different package when we have a subclass. Means there should be a inheritance, then only we will be able to access that in a different package. The last modifier that we have here is public. So public modifier is a least restrictive. It can be accessible anywhere in the application and it can be used in any class. Here is a diagram which gives you a complete picture of access modifiers. So when you say public, it can be accessed inside this class, inside the package, in the subclass, and global, yes. Protected, class we can access, package, yes we can access, in the subclass, yes only if you have inheritance, global, no you can't access that anywhere. When it comes to default, we can access inside the class and only in the package, and at the last private, which can be accessed only inside that particular class, and we cannot access that in a different package or in the same package, in the subclass or anywhere else, only inside the class. We can remember like this: private, default, protected, and public. Private will have very less visibility and public will have the most visibility. Final question: can we achieve encapsulation without using getters and setters method? The answer is yes. Encapsulation is not only about getters and setters method. It is about data hiding and controlled access. Getters and setters method is just a one way to achieve controlled access, but we can achieve encapsulation using business logic methods also. Instead of simple getters and setters, we can have methods that perform actual business operations. Example, checking balance. So whenever you are checking the balance, you have to enter the pin. So that is the validation part which you are achieving, and only if the pin is correct, we can show the balance to the end user. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.